Alright guys, for today's project we are building a wood stove. We've got a barrel and we've got the kit to convert it. Grand total for both of these, I picked up the barrel for 10 bucks and the barrel stove kit I believe is about 50, so $60 and you'll have a wood stove. It says that it's rated to 2,000 square foot and the cabin's going to be about 600, so I think we're going to be in good shape with that. And it says that this product is not suitable for residential. You know what? No, it's fine. It'll totally work. You're going to want some high heat furnace cement. This stuff is rated up to 2,000 degrees, so it should hold up. And you're going to need some high heat paint. Now, I don't have the paint yet, but we've got to burn everything off first, so it doesn't really matter. Just take a Sharpie and mark it out. The barrel's a little wet, so the Sharpie's not showing up too well, but it's enough that I can see. Since the Sharpie didn't really show up, we're going to scratch it out with a screwdriver. So now we've got it all marked out, we're going to take the cutoff wheel to it and probably go just to the inside of it, because you can always cut more, but you can never cut less. The instructions actually say to use a hacksaw or something to cut this out, and I guess you could, but I wouldn't, because I want to get it done. So, cutoff wheel. It's going to be a lot easier to mark the hole for the flue collar if you remove the baffle, so I went ahead and did that. You're making a wood stove out of a barrel. So, I mean, clearly perfect is not what you're shooting for, or where you've landed in life. So this particular barrel I got from a guy who does spray foam. His company does spray foam. And so it's got all kinds of nasty chemical resin and stuff like that. And we want to burn the paint off as well. You don't want to do your assembly before you've burnt the paint off, because you want the caulking to actually stick metal to metal. If you have the old paint on there, you assemble all the parts and you caulk it, put it together, then eventually that paint is just going to burn off underneath the caulk. It's going to create an air gap. So you want bare metal to bare metal. So we're going to burn this off. Before you do any of this, check and make sure that the EPA isn't flying around anywhere. Yeah, we're good. Also, and I'm not officially recommending this, if you're a pyro, now's a good time to have a leaf blower. Again, not an official recommendation. We're going to use a 1/4 inch bit because it's just a hair larger than the bolts that were provided. So we made a small mistake, and it was really just a matter of the dry fit, but as you can see, there's a bit of a gap at the barrel right there if we leave the legs all the way to the edge. So we're going to go ahead and re-drill these holes because it fits considerably better a little ways in, and then the holes we've already got we'll plug up with the caulk. So we measured out 3 inches and we lined up on both sides to make sure we keep it square, marked our new holes, and we're going to drill them out. What we're going to do is we're going to clean up the surface there and the surface there before we caulk anything. You can use any kind of solvent. In this case, I'm going to use brake cleaner because it takes off pretty much everything. You can use alcohol, paint thinner, whatever, anything that doesn't leave a residue, just not like standard household cleaners. So on the back side, we want to match that basically as perfect as possible. When I measured this one over, I measured 3 inches to the edge of the leg and then 1 inch from that seam up. It's critical that it's the same distance up on this side, or else our legs are not going to sit level. So we're going to go ahead and measure that out, mark it, drill out the other side. So I tighten these down with a drill. The biggest I guess criticism that I saw online about this kit was the quality of the bolts, and they are exactly what I read about. They're crap. It's Chinese, so that's what you get. But just go easy on it and And get the door cleaned up. Get the door lined up with your hole that you cut earlier. So I got the holes drilled out and I caulked around everything. I did it very similar to like an automotive gasket. Make sure that you go around all the holes and the entire perimeter. You want it to be continuous. And you want to do this first. You don't want to put the cover on and then caulk it, because it's going to expand and contract. You're going to have leaks later. This is going to make sure that it stays sealed pretty good for a long time. We got all the bolts in, got them hand tightened, and we're going to tighten them up with the drill. We're going to do it like you would lug nuts in a star pattern so that it tightens evenly. If you've never tightened lug nuts before, I can assume you're probably not building one. So. Now we're going to do the exact same thing for the flue collar. And there you have it. She's all wrapped up. I'm going to do another video where I actually make the stovepipe for it. But that's the basics of it.
On there.
Nice and warm. So with the exception of getting it painted and hooking a stovepipe up and building an entire cabin to put the wood stove in, it is done. As a whole, the project was pretty easy. It only took a couple hours, and I think it's going to work out pretty well. It's a big metal barrel that you put a fire in, so there you go. As I said before, that particular kit is not designed, rated, recommended for any sort of residential use, but I'm not a cop. I'm just a guy on the internet. Do whatever you want. Other people recommended getting hardware from somewhere else, just anything better than the cheap Chinese crap that came with it. It's not a bad option. I think it'll work out just fine how it is. In a strange move of coolness, they did include like 3 extra nuts and bolts in the kit, which is pretty uncommon for most things, so that was a nice surprise. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the build. If you liked it, go ahead and like the video and share the page and let people see what I'm doing out here. And thank you again. I love you guys. God bless.